Welcome to Lunch with Sandra. This is a 30-minute broadcast that we do every Monday, almost every Monday. And today's session was inspired by Veterans Day, actually, over the weekend. So as I was contemplating how to approach this topic, a few things came up. So before we get started, I'm going to have everybody get themselves grounded. Put your fingertips together and tongue on the roof of your mouth. Take a big deep breath in from the earth, down from heaven, and let go of anything that's in the past. And take a big deep breath up from the earth, down from heaven. Put that in your heart center and release anything that might be coming up for you in the future. Okay, and one more deep breath in and down from heaven. Put that in your heart center and bring yourself to the complete present moment so that you can be here and be present to what's going on inside of you. And also unplug from everybody else. So wherever your thoughts have been this week, or wherever your thoughts have been today, that's where your energy goes. So we want to bring you to the complete present moment right here, right now. So grab a pen and paper. Today's session is how to heal while you're grieving. And that kind of sounds like a dichotomy or an oxymoron. How do you heal while you're going through loss, while you're going through pain? How do you heal? And actually, you are healing while you are grieving. So the great news is, as you're grieving, celebrate that pain in some form or way, because that tells you that you are healing. So congratulate yourself. If you've been feeling a lot of pain and suffering from lost love in your life, whether that be lost security, it could be bankruptcy, it could be a loss of a job, it could be a loss of a home, it could be a loss of a loved one, it could be a loss of an animal, it could be a loss of a breakup, it could be a loss feeling of love inside your heart, and you don't even know why you're not able to connect back to that love. So we're just going to honor that for just a moment. So everyone, grab your pen and paper. I've taken some notes here. We're going to get started right away and jump right into it. Basically, we're going to look at what grieving is and the process of grieving. And this is actually one of my favorite topics because of my own personal experiences and what I have been through in my own life grieving losses, and what I've learned about spirit realm and what I've learned about loss. So everybody take your pen and paper for just a moment and write down if you know what the loss is that you feel in your heart. It could be just lost love, or it could be a dear one that you're missing right now, a beloved. It could be, my goodness, it could be if you were adopted and you've never met your birth parents, you may be feeling a loss of not knowing your birth parents. So we're going to honor whatever that is for you. So just take a moment and at the top of your paper, just write, I am grieving the loss of, and you may, if you don't know what that loss is, you just acknowledge that also. I'm just acknowledging I feel a loss of love in my life. Okay, now breathe. I feel the energy get heavy. Whoo. Okay, first let's talk about what loss is. We are never upset for one reason, the reason we think that we are. So let's say that you have lost your, let's say you've lost your pet. Okay, since I have Kathy watching. You've lost your pet and you're feeling a great anguish in your heart over losing your pet. And I also have lost my dear beloved Raider, so I understand what that feels like. Realize that when your brain goes through an experience, your thoughts place meaning on that experience. So your mental programming goes into a neural path, okay? We have these neural paths in our brain that are going all over the place. And you're going down a neural path of loss. And you've been down that neural path of loss millions of times before. But the true original, number one, the very first time that you went down the neural path of loss was probably in the experience of leaving the presence of Source or God to the planet, because we moved from a high frequency into a lower frequency and the dimensions changed, and so it felt like separation. So realize that any time that you have felt a separation from love, anytime it's going down that same neural path, which means every time that you lose someone, anytime that someone passes over, someone crosses, it goes down that same neural path. Anytime that you have a breakup in a relationship, anytime that you've lost some amount of security in your life, anytime that you've experienced loss, you're going down the neural path of loss. And so when you're grieving someone's death or someone's crossing over, or even your pet or whomever it may be, you're grieving all the losses at the same time, because that gets triggered. So have you ever noticed that sometimes one loss will feel so heavy, and at other times it doesn't feel that heavy? When it's going down that neural path of loss, of all the losses combined, it feels very, very heavy. So we're just going to acknowledge that we have all experienced losses in our lives. Of course, some losses have been greater to some people than other people. We don't put judgment on that, but just pay attention. I like to evaluate myself on a scale from 0 to 10. Let's say 10 was the greatest loss. You could even say 0 to 100%. And you went into the depths of despair at a level 10 or a level 100% or a level 90%. And it's not to say that that person or that animal wasn't of value to you as much as someone else if you're only at a 20. It's just noticing the level of grieving that your mind does, that your heart does. So we want to notice and rate the level of grieving. So at the top of your paper, you put, I am grieving the loss of, and then rate it from 0 to 100%. That's at a SUDS level, if we would set a subjective unit of distress. How much, what percentage are you grieving that loss? Okay, just allow that. Just allow anything to come up, whatever comes up, and just rate it. Now we're doing this exercise with no judgment on it. Not putting any judgment that it's good or bad or right or wrong, but that it just is. And you'll notice that your grieving is going to go up and down and up and down. And honor that. That's okay. That is so much part of the grieving process. And Kubler and Ross wrote a really great book on the stages of grieving, and we're not going to go into that, but we want to just say honor every stage of grieving that you go through. Honor it. Why do we want to honor it? First of all, let's look at that. How to heal grieving. There's 3 steps to that, and there's a lot more than 3, but we're going to narrow it down to 3 steps, and then in those 3 steps there's some steps. But the first step is to honor the pain that you're going through. So everyone write that word down. Honor the pain. How does that help grieving? If you're honoring the pain, first of all, you're moving away from avoiding the pain, which avoidance is a coping skill to feeling pain. When you feel the pain and you then go, oh my gosh, I can't feel that pain, or that pain is too great, so then you look away or you distract yourself or you get yourself super busy, That's fine for a period of time, but make sure that you go back to that pain, because the more you avoid your pain, the greater the pain will affect you in your life in other areas that you may not even realize that it's affecting you. So the first step in healing that pain is honoring the pain. And how do we honor pain? First of all, allow the pain to be there. Just acknowledge it. And what I like to do is, for awareness, go into your body right now and see where that grieving resides in your body. Where is that grieving? So for most of you, it's probably going to look like in your heart. It's going to feel like for me, I know it's a heaviness in the heart. And then you may feel pain in your stomach. You may feel a block in your throat. Just notice where you feel pain in your body, and write that down. This is your body's way of communicating where it holds on to pain. So go ahead and write down, where are you grieving inside your body? And we're just acknowledging it. We're just noticing it. We're breathing through it. Take some deep breaths. See if we can calm that energy down again. Okay, we're honoring the pain. And now let's also look at, so we're acknowledging the pain. First of all, we're aware of where the pain's at in our body, the grieving pain. And then let's go into the honoring. I came to this planet to have experiences, right? I came to the planet to have experience of duality, experiences of opposition. So if I came to the planet to have opposition and duality, then it's appropriate for me to feel the separation or the loss that I'm feeling right now. Can everybody acknowledge that? That somewhere at some point, these beings of love that we are, we wanted the Earth's experience. From a spiritual perspective, we wanted to come and experience duality. We wanted to come and experience opposition. So the first time that we felt that separation from love was probably, it could have been in the waiting period as we were preparing to enter conception and gestation. We go from the waiting period to the tunnel where the frequencies change, to conception, to gestation, to being born. And during that stage, there could be a great feeling of lost love, a great feeling of separation from love. And remember, you came to experience the opposition and the duality, so we get to honor that. You came to experience even pain. Why would we come to experience pain? You might be asking. We come to experience pain because in our space of our divine being, we are pure love. And that's like me saying to you, let's say that I've never had salt, and I say to you, I would like to know what salt is, but I don't want to go through having to go get salt. I want you to tell me what salt is like. That's kind of like, a dear friend reminded me of describing what a color is like to someone who's been blind their entire life. Those are difficult things to explain, the flavor of salt, or what salt is like, or the color of something when you haven't actually ever seen a color. So if I were to describe to you what separation is, a grieving in my heart, a broken heart, lost love, coming from a divine place of love, that would sound confusing to you. That would be like, I don't know what you're talking about. So consider the possibility that you came to the earth to experience loss, and you came to the planet to experience what that feels like. That's sometimes really hard to swallow, that I would come to the earth to experience this. But if it's not about judging it as being good or bad, but just an experience for you to learn from and for you to have, then you can see that all these experiences of duality are here to teach you compassion and love and connection, and the process of how to come back to that love, how to come back to the divine presence of love. And in this learning, at some point, we get to discover that we never left love, because who we are is love. And that God code is written inside of us. And we can't be separated from it. But our mental mind tells us that we are separated from it. So in your grieving process of losing your loved ones and losing love, it's never actually been lost. You are still love and you are still connected to love, but it feels like we're separated from it. So we want to honor that we came to have these experiences of feeling loss and feeling separated. So you're getting an A+. I mean, you're right on track for what you came to learn. So honor that. I call that the message of love. Honor the message of love that you came to experience this pain and this duality so you could learn from it and you could experience it and you could grow. So then you write, okay, I am grieving this loss. I feel it here in my body. I'm honoring it. I feel it at a 0 to 100%. Let's say you feel it at an 80% or whatever it is. Write that down. We're honoring that. And then notice how many times in your life you've experienced loss. How many times you've been down that neural pathway that says, I am separated from love or I am lost. I have a question, why loss over and over and over again? The reason we experience loss over and over and over again is because in the human condition, we're buying into the belief that we are separated from love. And so every time you experience a loss, it feels like a separation from that love. And it's there to remind you to go seeking the truth that you were never separated from love. And how to heal that grieving heart is to come back to feeling connected again. So we want to acknowledge, honor it. And then the next step is, and see where it's at in your body and see how many times you've been down that neural pathway of loss. I've been down mom and dad and in-laws and my dogs that I've lost. And see, I filed bankruptcy before. That was a loss. I lost my home. I lost my marriage. I lost custody of my kids. Those are all my losses when they were little. So just acknowledging all the losses that you've experienced again and again in your life as valuable lessons of healing it, learning how to receive true healing, which isn't to cover or mask the pain, but to go deep into the heart and to heal the heart. Okay, so write down a few of your losses that you've experienced. We're honoring it. The next step is to release the pain that's in your heart right now. So that's a little bit more difficult, right? Like, that's a little abstract, but I'm going to have you just take a big deep breath up from the earth. You'll notice I do this a lot, down from heaven, and sigh out that pain in your heart. In this present moment, you're safe. You're connected. You're connected to something greater that you can't even comprehend right now. And I have a little tool that I use for this exercise. This is my earth ball. If you don't have an earth ball, get an earth ball. It's a stress ball. I have plenty. I can ship you one. So this is to remind you, this is your trophy. You came to the planet to experience pain and loss. But you are not the loss, you are not your body, you are not the experience. You came to have the experience, so notice it as an earthly experience. Can you be willing to let go of that pain right now that you're feeling in your heart? Could you let it go? This is called the Sedona method, just a little technique. that works really, really well when you need to release attachments? Could you let the pain go? Could you let it go as an earthly experience? In this moment, you can always pick it back up, but could you let the pain go? Would you let that pain go? Would you be willing? I'm willing to let this pain go right now. It doesn't serve me. You know that pain stops you many times from connecting to spirit realm through your crown chakra? Could you let that pain go? Would you let that pain go? And when? Everybody do it with me. Now, I'm going to grab another tool that I use. This is my rapid eye directing device. And because I feel a lot of heavy energy right now in our little session, I'm going to break up that heaviness around you. This is just, we're just hammering energy. This is a rapid eye device. You'll see it has all the colors. If you want to watch my video on rapid eye, you can see what I'm doing. Other than I'm just hammering up that heavy energy that you guys are feeling right now over that pain around your heart. Break it up, let it go. I'm willing to let this pain go. It no longer serves me. I'm willing to let the belief of loss go. It no longer serves me. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Blinking it out of your eyes, blinking it out your eyes, letting it go, letting it go, letting it go. Take a deep breath in and down and sigh it out. Put it in your earth ball. Put it in the earth ball. I could let this go. I would let this go. When are you willing to let that pain go? I'm willing and ready to let that pain go now. At least for these few moments, right? I'm willing and ready to let the pain go in this few minutes. So we honor the pain by acknowledging it, being aware of it, and stop avoiding it. Stop using your coping mechanisms of avoiding it. And we have another great question. I'll address that in a second. Stop avoiding the pain so that you don't have to deal with it. Now, sometimes I say, put the pain on the shelf. Put it on the shelf until you can come into session, until we can deal with it. If you're at work and you've got to deal with people and you've got to deal with situations, put that pain on the shelf until you can come back to it. Now, a lot of you don't want to let the pain go because, as Kathy mentioned, I might be afraid of losing my connection with my loved one if I let the pain go. Or if I let the pain go, then I might feel guilty that I didn't grieve enough from their loss. There's several reasons we hold on to our pain. If you're accustomed to being the victim in your life and being the victim has served you in your life because you feel loved and supported by pain, then you'll hold on to pain. Just be okay that there is some resistance inside of you that needs to hold on to that pain. So the next step to answer your question, Kathy, is, will I lose the connection? And we honor it, we release it, we reframe. When you are in your grieving process, it is very difficult for you to feel connected to your beloveds and to your pets and to the love, the lost love. It's very difficult for you to feel that connection. So as we learn to reframe, what we do is we open the door for a new relationship for that loved one, for a new relationship for that beloved. And this one is more of a spiritual aspect of it. So we're going to go into, how do we reconnect to our loved ones? So if you're if you've lost love through a breakup, what did I want to learn from that breakup? What was the soul's learning I wanted to learn from that breakup? Let's say that person's still living on the planet. How do we reframe that relationship? We reframe the relationship by saying, this person came into my life to teach me about loss, about grieving, about separation. I honor that relationship. I unplug from that relationship, plug them into their column of light and heal it. I love them and I let them go. We've all had lost loves that way. If you've lost your relationship over death or crossing over, we want to honor that, and we want to reconnect to that loved one. So I'll tell you a quick story about that. Now, I've got lots of stories of loved ones crossing over, and the reframes that I have had in my life are so powerful that they truly are the key. It's the reframe that heals this spiritually. So you have to heal that pain physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. You have to have new thoughts about it. You have to have new feelings about that pain. You have to have new connections with your spiritual loved one. So, and do things physically different. So I had this experience, and I've had many with my parents. Both of my parents have crossed over. And I'll tell you a quick one. One of them, I was heading up to Idaho to do a speaking engagement, and I called my mom to see if she wanted to come and listen, and she lived in Idaho, and you know, she wasn't really interested in the work that I do, and so her health wasn't good, and so no, she wasn't going to get out of the house and come. And I remember hanging up the phone, and it felt like my 5-year-old just got rejected from my mom, right? And I could feel myself cry, just breaking, my heart just breaking that my mom didn't want to come and watch me speak. And I let myself cry. I just let myself fall apart in that moment and start crying. And my dad had already been crossed over. Now, mind you, when my dad was alive, he and I were not close per se. You know, we had a father-daughter relationship where I talked to him on the phone every week. Hi, how are you doing? What's happening? That kind of a thing. But my dad, he wasn't somebody that I went to with my pains. So after his crossing, and I had had many experiences by now with him, what happened in that moment that I called my mom in, who was living, and asked her to come and listen to me speak at a speaking engagement. And she couldn't come, and I hung up the phone, and I started crying like my 5-year-old was just rejected by her. All of a sudden, I felt my dad come in. And it was a feeling of just his arms wrapping around me and him saying to me, I am so proud of you. I am so proud of the work that you're doing. I am so impressed with all that you've learned and all that you want to share with other people. And your mom would be there if she knew how important it was to you. And I remember thinking, wait, my dad knows what I'm feeling right now? My dad knows the pain that I'm in right now? And he picked up the piece of the broken heart that I had, my inner child that was grieving mom not being there for me. My dad, who was in spirit, picked up the piece. And he wrapped his arms around me and he told me how proud he was. Now, I'm here to tell you, I understand that we don't feel our loved ones a lot of times when we're grieving. When our pain is so heavy, it's hard to feel our loved ones. So first of all, I want to acknowledge that. Take some time every day to get spiritually connected so you can feel your loved ones. Watch my video on your clairs. Know what your entry point is into spirit realm. Do you hear? Do you see? Do you feel? Most people feel at first, which is clairsentience. And then you open your spiritual gifts to seeing, to hearing, smelling, tasting. So my spiritual entry was feeling. I felt my dad first, and then I heard his words say, I am so proud of you. Now, how did I know it was my dad? There was a claircognizance that happened of just knowing. So all of my spiritual gifts opened for me to have this moment. And I remember sitting there, and you can see how powerful it was for me, going, oh my gosh, this is far better than having my dad alive, because he wouldn't have even known I was going through this. He wouldn't know that I was hurting because I felt rejected, that my mom didn't want to come and hear me speak.
But because he's in spirit realm, he does know. He knows what my thoughts and feelings are. He knows when I'm hurting. And he showed up. He did the reframe for me. He showed up to console me, to love me, to honor me, and to say, I'm proud of you. And I gotta tell you, a little side note, my mom has crossed over now. And gosh, I can't. I'm emotional about this, but my mom showed up about 3 weeks ago. Early in the morning, I woke up and I could sense my mom and dad in my room, and my mom says, I'm proud of you. And isn't it funny how much we want our parents to be proud of us? I had no idea I was so attached to that, especially because I keep surrendering everyday attachments. But I remember laying in my bed and going, you know the work I'm doing, you know. And my mom said, I see the lives you're impacting and you don't even know. You don't even know the lives you're impacting. And I'm so proud of you. And I'm sorry that I didn't come and support you that day. I didn't know what it meant to you. Okay, so back to how you heal your pain. We won't make this all about my healing. I've had an emotional day of love today, so I feel a lot of spiritual support around me. Honor it, release it, and reframe. Those of you who are watching and who are going to be rewatching this video, your loved ones are so near to you, and they love you far more than you could even comprehend. They know what you feel. They can even hear your thoughts. When you think about them, it's like calling them on the phone and it brings them in, which is also why I'm so emotional, because I'm feeling your loved ones who have crossed over and their love for you. This reframe takes practice. It takes practice connecting to your deceased loved ones, to your animals, to your beloveds. It takes time learning how to hear them, how to feel them. But I promise you, it's what brings joy to you on this planet. And you will see you were never separated. You weren't separated from them. In fact, do you know they don't even miss you? They miss your physical touch, but they don't miss you because they're with you. They love you. They're with you whenever they want to be. So honor that. Honor that they're not missing you. You're missing them because you don't know that they're next to you. So in this moment, before we end our video, I'm going to have everybody come together. And we're going to bring in your loved ones right now so that you may feel loved and supported by them. Now, if you've had a breakup, and if you're grieving a breakup or a lost love that's still on the planet, imagine seeing their soul in front of you and saying, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you for this lesson. And we're going to bring in your loved ones right now. All of them. Your animals, your beloveds who have crossed, any parents, anyone that you want to feel their love, and just feel them. Just take a deep breath up from the earth, down from heaven, go into a space of neutral, and feel them around you. Feel them loving on you. Feel them licking your face. Feel their furry ball on your lap. And just take a moment now. This just came inspired to me. So take a moment now on your paper that we've been working on and write, my beloved has a message for me. What is it? What is the message that my beloved has for me now? This is called automatic writing. And we're going to take a moment of quiet for you to write the message that your beloved has for you now. And let go of judgments that you can't do it. And just move into a neutral space. I'm willing and ready. And let your hand write. And if nothing's coming, imagine them in front of you and what they would say to you.
Imagine it. What would they say to you? If they could talk to you right now, what would they say? Okay, good work. Now, if any of you have any more questions, I'm coming up with out with a book at the end of the year on this grieving while healing, healing while grieving topic, and it's these that we've gone into. I will blog what I've written today, the honor, the release, and the reframe, and I'll let you know. Go on to my website, awakenwithin.net, sign up for my newsletters, because I will post the blog there as soon as I get that done at the end of the week. We will continue these sessions on grieving. We will continue on connecting to spirit realm, opening up your spiritual gifts, and feeling more connected to your beloveds. I'm really grateful that you are all here today, and thank you for joining, and thank you for being open to share your wounded hearts with me. I feel very honored to do that. And everybody, just take your little wounded heart now, and we're just going to love on it for just a moment. Feel the connection, feel your beloveds, feel their hands wrap around your broken heart. Feel your angels and your spiritual support wrap around your broken heart, and put that broken heart back into your heart. It's my wish and desire that all of you may feel healing today, that all of you may feel the love and feel reconnected back to Source. And so it is. We will see you next Monday, where we will continue this discussion on healing while you're grieving. Namaste.